Hey everyone, it's Come Follow Me again, and we're in 51 through 57 this week. This is a really good mix of mission calls, movements, disappointments, false expectations. Yeah, some good stuff in here. It's a lot of reading, so don't leave it too late. Start early. It's a lot of reading, but it's not a lot of reading. That doesn't make sense. Here we go, going up again. So anyway, 51 starts off 1831, and there's ones migrating from eastern states beginning to arrive in Ohio. And this is at the point where Bishop Edward Partridge is like, how are we going to do this? Because remember, he's called as bishop. How are we going to do this? And then Joseph Smith inquired of the Lord and gets 51. But also at this time, a conference is going to be held in Ohio in 52, and the Lord then instructs that the next conference is going to be held in Independence, Missouri. So they're on the move again. Now, interestingly, my husband says when I walk in the door, or he walks in the door, he'll say Ohio, as in Japanese, Ohio gozaimasu. And he's always done that, but lately we were in the Doctrine and Covenants have been kind of being funny, and he's gone Ohio and I've gone Missouri, so it's become like a family thing now, and I think it's gonna stick. I know, right? Okay, so anyway, we're in 51, and we're gonna go to verse 19. So there's they've had this time for, remember, like, oh, how am I gonna put this? So the promise that was made to them for Lehman Copley's farm to be available to the Colesville Saints. They're arriving from the east, from New York, into Ohio. They get there, they're there for a couple of days or weeks or whatever, and then Lehman Copley says, no, I don't want this agreement anymore. I do not agree to have you here. So suddenly there's all these saints, like, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? And then there's other saints that are arriving as well, and how long are we going to stay here for, and aren't we moving on to Missouri, and what's happening, and we're going to have to move again, and it's all these questions, all these people at different parts of their journey as they all gather. And you can imagine the logistical nightmare for the first bishop of the church going, I don't know what to do. So this is what section 51 is. Now 16 says that they're here for a little season, and are consecrate unto them this land for a little season. But then he goes on to say to them, but act as if it was land for years, because then it will turn to good. And that's part of being a steward, which is what we're going to talk about in 19. But this is just sort of looking at my other notebook. So this is like, we'll talk about it, but like, even if it's temporary, treat it like it's permanent. Give it that respect, give it that honor. And I'll read this, and I've got a really good example about silver beet. Silver beet's like spinach, if you don't know what silver beet is. But anyway, verse 19 says, and whoso is found a faithful, a just, and a wise steward shall enter into the joy of his Lord, and shall inherit eternal life. So in this particular point, yes, Bishop Partridge is a steward, but we are all stewards, and each of these members arriving in this area were stewards over the land on which they were living. We are stewards over whatever we own, where we live, who we look after, who we have ministered to look after, anything. It doesn't have to be an official assignment. You don't have to own the home. You're still a steward of it. You're a caretaker of it. So, you're going to be faithful, wise, and just. And what does it look like to be faithful, wise, and just? Faithful is to be loyal, steadfast, reliable, and true. It's like, I think I'm that. Yep. I think most people I know and associate with are that. I would say that about them. Now, just, you're going to remember we're talking adjectives here, describing words. So, just isn't, because there's also, I don't know, anyway, there's another definition, but just as an adjective is right or fair. And, we're always saying what is fair, because that's someone's opinion, really, but equitable, I guess. All right. Wise is experienced, intelligent, skilled, and thoughtful, because wise isn't always about all the information you know. You can have the most amazing university degrees and still not know how to tie shoes. So, wise, it's not always about information you know. Then, so yeah, steward is a manager or an organiser. And I've just had a courier pull up, so I might have to pause this. So we've got to manager, organiser. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to come back and talk about it, but it won't be long. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Did you miss me? Sorry to break it like that. I hope it doesn't cause any issues, but I've been waiting for this medicine to arrive and I really needed it. So yay, and I can start taking it and hopefully feel a little better. All right, so what is a steward? That's what we got up to. As a manager and organizer, I think I already said that. So take care of whatever in the best way possible. Your efforts are acceptable to the Lord and Heavenly Father because you show up, you try, and you give thought and effort. So yeah, being wise and being just and being faithful and being a steward is really about, they're big words and you can go into depth of them, but they are about trying and giving thought and effort. And this will look different for everyone, and just do it your way. Now, the example I was going to give is that when we were a child, we moved around a lot. And I know that my mum always tried to plant something in the garden. And my granddad was a big one for this too. And we moved a few times with him. And the first thing he always seemed to plant was silver beet, because it grows super fast and it really loves the environment around here. Plus, it's also really nutritious and you can do a lot with it when you cook. You can have it as a salad raw. You can, as the new leaves come in, you can freeze it if you need to, like blanch it, freeze it, which my nana used to do, which I still do. So there's a lot you can do with it, and it grows fast. It's a crop that is really hardy. You don't need to pre-fertilize your garden or anything. So that was part of him being a good example as a steward as to what we were looking after. Even, if we were in the house for a few months or whatever, and we might not get to see the benefits of growing that garden, plant it anyway. It's not like you're planting out acreages of corn or something. We're talking like taking care of what you have in this moment. Excuse me, guys. So that even if it's not for you, someone else has it. And you are respecting Heavenly Father's gift of the earth, Jesus Christ's, love of the earth and creation of the earth. You're respecting getting to live on this earth. There's a lot of things in there. So being a steward and looking faithful, just, and wise is about showing up, trying, and to give thought and effort. And it's actually really a lot easier than you would think. And as I said, it will look different for everyone, and do it your way. Whatever your way of doing this is, just do your best at it, because your effort counts. That's really it. Bishop Edward Partridge. Now, yes, this is the bishop from the time. This is the bishop they're talking about, and that's the quote I'm going to use because it just fits perfectly well. And he said, "I stand in an important station, and I sometimes feel my station is above what I can perform to the acceptance of my Heavenly Father." So even in this section, this is what he was feeling, overwhelmed, and like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be this steward. This is this heavy call on me to look after these people, and I don't know how to do it in a way that Heavenly Father is going to accept my offering and my efforts. And you know what? Any effort, your effort you put in is accepted. It's that simple. So even Bishop Edward Partridge, the first bishop that we put on a high pedestal and say, wow, didn't he do a great job? He felt inadequate too. So if you're feeling inadequate, don't. And I know it's not just that easy. You got to work on that. But don't feel that way. It's okay. Your effort is what counts. Your genuine, interested, thoughtful effort is what counts. And doesn't always get recognized, doesn't always get thanked. Doesn't always get thanked. Oftentimes it doesn't get thanked. But that's all you need. And you'll feel better. You'll know. You'll know in your heart. If your heart is in the right place, if your efforts are in the right place, if you are doing it with the Spirit with you, you will know. In here, you will know. It will feel good for you. And that's what it is. So, to be faithful, just, and wise, try. Show up. Do you. All right. We're going to go to section 52 and look at what we most assuredly believe. Interesting. All right. See you there.